Well, good. I'm glad it all worked out.
It's called the Thursday show. Gelman, Galbit. Galbit is our producer.
Galbit.
And I said it's Tuesday. What's wrong with you people?
God.
And I hate all of you.
I'm so glad that we waited till Thursday to record this so we could record it so terribly.
Oh my God.
I couldn't. I had a mission yesterday, so I couldn't have recorded it anyway. But I feel like I'm going to regret asking this question. You don't have the speaker, do you?
No, I don't have a speaker. It would be terrible anyway. So someone play the music. That doesn't matter.
If we had known this, any of the 45 minutes we've been getting ready, then we would be fine.
We're doing it without music.
Fine.
No music. Welcome to Everyone Racers. The show has started. A show designed for the world of low dollar racing. Effed up audio and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of lemon champ or lucky track dog you run. SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. As long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes on the world of amateur endurance racing. And whether it's on the spot, hello sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
I've already giggled so much. This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
Yes. And I'm Mental, and I'm going to take this intro because it's a well-written intro and Jeff's audio is terrible. And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to an American Graffiti episode of our podcast. American Graffiti is a coming-of-age film that Chrissy has never seen. It was directed by George Lucas, produced by Francis Ford Coppola, and released nationally on August 11th, which was actually the day we were going to record when I wrote this, but it's yesterday, back in 1973. The classic gearhead film is set in Modesto, California during 1962 and is a study of the early cruising and rock and roll culture. In 1995, the United States Library of Congress deemed the film culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant and selected it for preservation in the National Film Registry. You know what's also culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant? It's our E1R bingo card, which you should totally check out.
Oh, nothing.
I thought you were going to say Chrissy's mom.
Oh.
Got a better one. Got a better one for that. So besides us being 45 minutes late, American Airlines sucks, and a host of other issues, what you working on?
Wow.
Somebody.
Who are you going first?
I'll go first. All right, fine. If you remember.
What are you working on, Mental? You can't throw it to yourself. Right, so Mental, what are you working on?
If you guys remember, a few months ago, I worked on my Toyota and it had locked up, and I was hoping it was a clutch that had disintegrated because it was making a grinding noise.
Yep.
Got the engine and transmission pulled out of it, separated them. Nope. Clutch worn, greasy. You could see why it was slipping. It was fine. But it was all intact. So I put the engine, got it up on a stand, put the oil plug and about 3 quarts of water. Then the oil came out. Womp, womp.
Well, is it locked? Like, can you turn over the breaker bar, or is it? It's a 20R. It kind of might still run.
It seized on me while it was in the car. It was running. It was like rah, 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 rah. So I have not attempted to do that.
LS swap?
I was gonna spin it over next week when I get a chance, pull the oil pan and see if I can see anything obvious in there. But regardless, it's suddenly extended into a longer term project. But I am also currently in beautiful downtown Joliet, Illinois, because I am working the Autobahn, the doing time in Joliet race for Lemons. So if you're coming, I wear a large t-shirt and I like the mango White Claws if you're not bringing tequila.
Oh, he needs one.
I'm going to suggest if the motor in the Toyota truly is locked up, that you let it go and concentrate back on the Volvo. Because the Volvo is cooler.
You think the Volvo is cooler than my old Toyota?
Yeah. If you're going to do all the work to put a motor in something, I think the Volvo is cooler. My opinion.
And it's an interesting take. Listeners, what do you guys think? And we'll post this up this weekend. We'll post pictures of my Volvo and we'll post a picture of my Toyota. And what do you guys think?
It's a Volvo 240 Nerd Wagon. White with blue interior,
vinyl,
pretty rust free. Yeah,
4-speed or 5-speed.
It's a 4-speed with the electronic overdrive.
Yep, it's like my Corvette.
And it's a slick roof, so I don't have a roof rack on it, which is apparently rare. Yeah.
I think that's cooler.
Unmodified, unmolested. My 78 Toyota Hilux is also unmodified, very molested,
Yes.
and incredibly rust free. So
Your truck is like, hey, I seen some shit.
and we talked about it way back in the SEMA episode. So yeah, listeners, if you've got input, truck versus Volvo.
Your truck's been so molested that the Boy Scouts and the Roman Catholic Church owes it money.
That's about right.
You know, it's funny with you're not the loudest person on the show, so you basically should put your hand up anytime you want to talk because you can't hear you. Good.
I'm
Thanks.
sorry. For those of you who don't know, I sound
Jeff,
terrible.
what are you working on? Just keep rolling.
Okay, I was racing and I was swimming in brake and clutch fluid, and I am only about an hour away from Mental. I am visiting my wife's aunt who lives in Oak Park, Illinois, which is about 1 mile from Chicago proper and about an hour from Mental. That's all I'm working on.
Great.
Cool.
And that is why my audio is terrible.
Because we spent 30 of the 45
Something
minutes
is
trying to
wrong with my computer.
wait for you to figure out
Yes.
how
It
to
happens.
not be a
Wah,
tuner great.
wah. No
does happen.
trombone to play tonight either.
No trombone.
Nope.
Hey, which car did you take? Did you take Jen's or did you take
We
the
did.
Hyundai?
We took Jen's. It's bigger. I have to bring a lot of tools because this is my aunt's new condo. And I am
Ooh.
going to be doing lots of things like building closets and repairing things and hanging things and changing faucets. So
Something Jeff left out. Well, I'm going to go with Jen because the handwriting was legible. Also managed to send me a lovely care package of Mercedes Petronas F1 gear. So I got a cool hoodie and a tie-dyed shirt.
I was like a little
Nice.
I was like a little jealous, and then Jeff was like, you could have asked me for one. And I was like, oh.
Or you can go to the store. Yeah.
Chrissy,
Okay.
what are you working on?
Oh, you know what I was working on? I was
I know.
racing, I was packing, I was racing, and then I was unpacking. We did a lot of unpacking, and then we did a freaking clean of the whole freaking house because it's been months, like a month and a half of constant weekends, long weekends. We were here for a couple of days. We made a mess. We would leave for a long weekend and start over again. So our whole house has been a mess. We cleaned all the rooms. We scrubbed floors. Chris did we did deep cleaning. We've cleaned like the basement. So we've just done a lot of cleaning since we've been back. So productive. And it's also, check it off in your bingo card, so freaking hot here that you walk outside and you bake. And this is, Mental's laughing because Las Vegas is hot. This is like 97% humidity. It's rain. It does super rainstorms every day because it's so freaking hot. And then the rainstorms don't actually cool it off. It's just so freaking hot.
It's just Florida weather. Yeah.
It is. I went out.
And I empathize because we had a stack of thunderstorms come through, and
it's so bad.
It was actually affecting flight operations because the humidity. No one's used to it. And, and I'm coming into work sweating and I'm like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And everyone at work is like, yes, this is awful. And our humidity was like probably, 10, 15%. It was miserable.
Everyone's have to recalculate their density altitude to take off. Oh man.
I went out to
joke, but they actually did.
I know, I'm sure.
I went out to the car. I went to go look for something. I came back in and I honestly looked like I was swimming. Like that's how sweating I was. And I was
humidity
like,
sucks. Nobody likes humidity.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Terrible.
And where we live, it's 100% all the time. So
yeah. Yep. That's what it's like now.
So this week is the worst of the summer so far.
It is.
Yeah. Chris,
Great.
tell us how you're avoiding sweating.
Obviously the rain. I'm not going outside. But so all the things I've been doing instead, I have done a bunch of research and ordered a bunch of parts to fix things that broke in the Mazda. Here, flash forward. Clutch and oil cooler, and those parts are mostly here, which is great. Too hot to actually remove it from the trailer and do anything, but the parts are mostly here, so that's great. I've also been prepping for a backpacking trip that we are taking next weekend.
Is that the same one you guys took, or you finding a new mountain?
New mountains, actually different state even.
Ooh.
We're trying to do something different.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. My audio is terrible, so I'm just going to say news and notes time.
You can yell. It's okay.
Well,
news and notes time.
Thank you. Every
Thanks, Tally.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, how did he get here?
Alert. Do you own a 2021 Ford Bronco with a hard top?
No.
If you do, I'm talking to listeners, Chris, not you. I know
there's like 8 people that do so far.
By the way, if you have a hard top, you're going to need another one. It turns out, or if you haven't received your hard top yet, you're going to be waiting until like October to maybe get one yet. It was in a story in the Drive. Automotive News actually broke the story, but the unpainted plastic roofs that were supposed to be ready in July to be shipped out for all the new Bronco owners, they're having problems. Ford itself says they blame the supplier that creates, quote, an unsatisfactory appearance when exposed to extreme weather and humidity. So there it is, humidity again. Ford insists that this defect does not impact the functionality of the molded hardtop, just the color of the roof. It does not impact the functionality of the molded in color hardtop roof. But they're going to replace them all anyway because they look like hell. Story in the Drive, link in the show notes.
Hey, at least they're fixing it up front.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. You probably heard in the news, the U.S. administration has laid down the law for electric vehicles. Last Thursday, President Biden set a goal to speed up America's shift to electric, targeting 50% of new cars on the road by 2030, which is super optimistic and not going to happen. According to the Hustle newsletter, not all automakers have embraced the shift to electric, but soon they're probably going to have to. The 3 largest automobile markets, Europe had 17% of new cars electric. China had 1.1 million electric vehicles sold, but the U.S., it's less than 4%. And we've definitely done a good job of just using different units, so you can't actually compare any of those 3 things. So a lot of those Chinese leased electrics are plugins like the Changli, which tells you a lot because no one knows what that is. Anyway, the numbers aside.
If anyone that watches Jalopnik, they all know that Torchinsky's got a Changli. It's the cheapest car available in the world. It's basically a golf cart with a cabin.
Nice.
It's hilarious.
All right. So U.S. automakers have some aspirations. General Motors wants to make only EVs by 2035. Possible. Toyota predicts 70% of U.S. sales will be EVs by 2030. Despite they don't have any EVs on sale right now, so dubious.
They were so far ahead of the game.
Well, in hybrids.
How did they not?
Because they're hanging on to the hybrids because that's the transition step, and Toyota does it better than anybody. Ford announced 40% of its vehicles will be electrified by 2030. That means hybrid or electric. So, and they're on a good start. If that F-150 Lightning takes off, which it very well may, that's a great.
I am seeing Mach-E's everywhere.
I'm also interested. Ford, in addition to the F-150 Lightning, they're doing a lot with their commercial stuff because they've got all electric transits.
Transits going, yeah. Well, for fleet customers, that it can make some huge sense, especially the long-term view.
Yeah. And that'll get their numbers up. Totally.
So, hey, manufacturing is just one aspect. Europe has the benefit of government support, but hey, even here we made a big billions and billions of dollars of requests to create charging stations because if there's no place to charge, no one's going to buy them. So anyway, without that government loan, Tesla wouldn't even have gotten off the ground. So someone's got to support new technology. And here at Everyone Racers, we rethink the key to EV adoption is the first successful electric crap can race car. Someone's got to do it. I know a lot of people out there are thinking hard, and plenty of Lemons engineers in California work for Tesla. Like they know this stuff. No one would believe that.
We have not seen a serious attempt yet, have we?
Well, I mean, Duff Beer. Let's call that mildly serious. They tried.
Well, they learned a lot of lessons. They knew going into it they were going to fail. And knocked off a lot of stuff. The college kids at Pit Race, they were all electrical engineers, and they actually sat down and said, "Hey, are they serious about this $50,000 prize?" Now granted, they couldn't get the alternator figured out in their Mercury, but that's not the point. The point is you've got young racers that were already thinking about it. So I like that.
Yep. Hopefully someone tries at least. Anyway,
when it was announced, there was lots of discussion about hot swapping batteries and Tesla motors and something really light, and no one has done it yet. I guess we all stood at home with our COVID and didn't do it.
I've even loaned out our data from winning races to other people who wanted to see it for understanding like
how much
what level of acceleration is needed, et cetera, et cetera.
There's some smart people crunching the numbers. On the back off of the electric thing and onto traditional stuff, Nissan has finally updated their Frontier midsize pickup. Now, the previous generation has existed with just minor facelifts since 1997. This is a staple of rental fleets, and it's not that it was a bad truck, it's just so dated. Jose Rodriguez Jr. gave us a walk around of all the press materials at Jalopnik, and the link of that is in our show notes. But noteworthy to our listeners, the 2022 base model starts at $27,000, which is a bit pricey for that kind of truck. However, the only engine available across the line right now is a 3.8 liter direct injection V6 that makes 310 horsepower, 281 foot-pounds of torque. Now, the Nissan website mentions all the towing features of the new model. Fully boxed, full-length ladder frame, available class 4, trailer sway control, and what they're calling the intelligent around view monitor, which is all the new vehicles have. They're versions of the super cameras. But the site is actually devoid of any actual towing capacity numbers. But if anyone over at Nissan wants to give a team of sharp, popular automotive podcasters and experience the chance to give an honest assessment of the new Frontier's towing capabilities in order to facilitate your marketing into the ever-growing grassroots motorsports racing community, you can get in touch with us at everyoneracers@gmail.com.
Everyone.racers.
I'm sorry, everyone.racers.
They just emailed everyone racist and they're like, oh,
screw those losers.
Nobody got back to me. Oh,
we were going to loan it to them for a year.
I'm sorry. Those people are very busy and they cannot get back to their emails.
Hey, if it'll tow at least 7,000 pounds, we're in.
Give it. I'll try it. I've got an open trailer. I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
On to my favorite subject. Formula One has confirmed that it will add a second U.S. race to its schedule in 2022. In fact, just 9 months, we can enjoy a Formula One race without having to wake up stupid early on a Sunday. James Gilboy at The Drive reports that F1 has confirmed its inaugural race at Miami Grand Prix is scheduled for May of next year. The 3.3 mile course will run the Hard Rock Stadium complex in Miami Gardens, is planned to have 19 corners, 3 potential DRS zones, which is a lot, and top speed nearing 200 miles an hour. Formula One CEO Stefano Domenicali told Racers Magazine they hope to have the rest of the provisional schedule in September or October, which is totally on par with all of the rest of racing. He added that even though new tickets are not on sale, there is already crazy demand for it, which is not surprising at all. It would be exciting to go. What's not high? Jeff and mental standing in E1R F1 Fantasy League. In fact, it's very sad. Very funny, actually.
If they fix the points and they actually find a liter of gas inside Seb's car, I will do all right.
Oh, he'll be
Jeff,
for a while.
You're not jumping up. Just settle.
Not even that much.
It's basically you, then me, then Ron Harrington, and then the dummy account that I used to make the league.
And then Jim Bauman, who hasn't played all year. With everyone joining our league, they got pushed down even farther. So hop on our don't join our fantasy league.
Join us. Come on. No, it's fine. Come on.
No,
it's cool.
don't join us. Links in the show notes, maybe, because I am tied for third. So that's why I don't want to tell you to join with the other fantastic Wakemen. We will be so much fun. It's going to be had in 2022, except for Maximus Lexi Racing, who we need to know who you are, because you're not going to get an award. Mental is talking about getting an award for whoever wins this league. And I think you shouldn't get an award.
We don't know who you are.
Show yourself. We will promise that we will like you. You're very far ahead, and I'm kind of convinced you're a bot, but that's okay. And then if we don't know who you are, Apex Adjacent is going to get the award because he is in the lead right now, but we're pretty close to the top. So we have a good time with it. A lot. We fight over Slack and stuff. So join us or don't join us, and that's fine too. Upcoming races.
Jeff was sleeping at the switch there.
He's sleeping.
Oh, she's doing something. Lucky Dog is gearing up for the Donnybrook Dogs at Brainerd International Raceway this weekend. Oh, don't you know? Unfortunately, it's a small field, only 19 cars. Oh, it's our BMWs, which is so boring.
Wow.
3 Miatas, 1 Honda, no Porsches, but Jeff is listening to us on his phone. But hey, the mighty Maserati Bi-Turbo from Eric Peterson and Dan Pedal Crew will be there. So they will surely dominate.
I'll chime in here while.
It's over in Brainerd. Don't you know?
Don't you know?
All right, don't forget August.
It's a short toll for those guys.
Okay, so August something to 22nd.
Next weekend.
Following
weekend. Yeah.
That says the wrong numbers, but it's a final weekend for Raw Lucky Dog Carolina Cup at CMP. Hopefully they will have their entry results. If not, they're always a freaking fantastic time. So hopefully you're going to join them.
All right. Champ is up in the Great White North for their Calaboogie Enduro. Unfortunately,
are they going to go?
I
think they could. Well, here's why. Keep going, Mental.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
Read ahead.
The Rona is playing havoc with the border crossings because they also only have 20 cars listed.
Yeah.
6 of those are BMWs, which are still
boring.
2 Miatas, 6 Hondas, 1 Porsche, and a Nissan Micra.
What?
That's cool. Canada only.
Right. If only
non-US. There we go.
If only all of those 20 are actually Canadians.
I think they all are. I think that's
Micra.
Why it's a short, small number.
I've heard Calaboogie is a nice track though.
That's what everybody says. People wanted to go, but people kept canceling. Just can't get to the border. As you mentioned, Mental is in Illinois for the doing time in Joliet race in Audubon. 71 cars, which is a fantastic number for them. Only 2 BMWs, but I'm not even going to call
boring.
Not even boring, because Midwest knows how to have fun. 1 Miata for the same reason. 10 Hondas. Heck yeah. 2 Porsches and a settle your purse, Jeff. There are 5 DSMs.
I'm so excited by this.
One Dodge Stealth, an Eagle Talon.
Right?
Well, that's okay. So a Dodge Stealth, I don't think counts as a DSM.
Sure, it does.
It's absolutely.
It's a Mitsubishi 3000 GT Dodge Stealth. It's all the same crap.
Okay, that's
a Diamond Star Motors.
It's a Diamond Star Motors. You're right.
Eagle Talon, which Jeff has a half.
Totally.
Yes.
An Eclipse and 2 Lancers, which are total crap. But you're very excited about this.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. It was the Lancers that I meant to say. I don't think they count as DSMs.
Yeah, I'll give you that because they
were already out. Like Chrysler was already like, forget it.
That was after the conclusion of Diamond Star Motors. I agree.
Yeah.
But
still, Mitsubishi is still terrible.
Sold rebadged Lancers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
they did.
that was in the 90s, though.
Yeah,
that was in the 90s. By the time that one came out, if someone rebadged their Eagle Summit as a Lancer, because when Mitsubishi sold them, they called them like the Mirage and crap like that instead of the Lancer. Yeah. Unfortunately,
you know what?
Maybe someone's
3
cool.
DSMs is plenty.
It's more DSMs than BMWs, which means well done.
You know what? I wrote that and had not done the math on that. More DSMs than BMWs. That should be the motto for the weekend. I'm making sure that's going in the wrap-up script.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Ready?
Yeah.
Race it, race on!
Champ Car ran the Lifeline 24-hour classic at VIR this Friday to Saturday. First was Pinky's out in a BMW. That's boring, but this is the 3rd year in a row they've won the event, so it's extra boring because it wasn't even fun. They doubled down because literally just a few feet behind was their second boring E30.
Wow.
Go do something more fun, people. Seriously, 8 laps back was RVS graphics. Also, in a boring BMW.
If I race a BMW, I go to Champ Car.
This is usually AER, but yeah, yawn. Sorry, it's a shame. They had 58 cars at VIR while we had 104 at Lemons at Thompson. Like,
and it was full VIR at night, 24 hours.
True.
That is a great
58 cars
track.
in VIR isn't necessarily full. There's a lot of room there.
No, I meant the full course, not the full.
Oh yes.
Full course.
That's why
the full course.
Oh,
overnight, a chance to drive at night at VIR. Man, folks, if you live in that area, you're missing out. That's a great race.
It's a wonderful course, but that's why I'm saying it's a shame. Like 58 cars, something's going wrong there.
Holy crap and
That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Well, WRL was at High Plains in Colorado this week. The weekend belonged to Stratus Racing. On Saturday, there were 2 laps ahead of the W2W car and 3 laps over third place finisher, the other W2W car. On Sunday, Stratus Racing took 5-lap win over our buddies at Kingpin, and W2W held the spot on the podium with less than a second behind that. That's it. That's exciting.
Is it too much to ask that Stratus Racing actually races a Stratus?
I hope they race a Stratus.
I'm sure they do not.
Cloud car for the win.
I
mean,
sure
it's got to be a BMW or a Porsche.
They don't win over 3 laps over at
You
High
cannot
Plains.
be Stratus Racing without a cloud car.
Nope.
Not
sure,
allowed.
I'm sure they're an M3.
Kicked out. Kicked out.
Or a
Yeah,
Porsche.
exactly.
Yep.
All right, I will go slowly because I know my audio is terrible, and this is interesting news. Lemons was at Thompson. Woo, woo, we were there. More of this because this is the main topic of the show, but the quick rundown is 24 Hours of Lemons knows what it needs, and what it needs from an index of effluency, it gets our buddies in the Chrysler Cordoba.
Damn it.
Red Mental.
Like you asked.
The Cordoba got hit 4 times, including once by Betty. More of that in a minute. It really stayed out of the way. I thought it was not in the way ever. I thought it was quicker than it usually is.
Yeah.
It was not. Yeah, it was fine. I thought it was great. I didn't even come close to it this weekend. So I don't know what's wrong.
I had more problems with the Polara or whatever that thing was than the Cordoba. Like I went around the Cordoba like, no problem. See you later, Jim.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see that the Cajun guys from Monaco on the pictures up there. That's a great team.
Yeah. So the Cordoba was great. It looked great, and it really didn't. There was one dent in the door, but other than that, I don't think the other 3 injured it. So
now, the total damage that knocked
We
Betty's
looked at it when it
nose
came in.
The total damage to the Cordoba was one of the exhaust pipes was slightly less round. That's it. Yes.
Well, anyway, we're glad to see the Cordoba win the IOE. Well deserved. Keep running it. It's amazing. Overall was the Boston Whiners in their boring BMW E30. Whatever. Class B was Monkey House Racing. Jonah and the boys in their in their 5-cylinder Golf literally ran the tires off that sucker. I don't know what kind of settings they're running, but
they were so excited.
Oh, they were like banana peels.
They were so excited.
They've worked hard. They earned it.
Absolutely.
First, well, a Volkswagen goes through a whole race, doesn't break. Everyone's excited, right?
We are going to talk about Class C because the Class C winners were the Hack Factory Motorsports. They used to be called We Love the Tuna, and we love these guys. Not only is Brian and company, they threw together a great theme. It is a Chevy Monte Carlo that identifies as a Supra, and it's painted up like Brian's Supra from the Fast and Furious. They sold it in judging, and they got rid of the crappy whatever 3 whatever liter V6 was in it, and it is now Ecotech swapped. So it's everything a Lemons car should be. It's got a good theme. It's a car that does not belong on a road course. And then they did a stupid motor swap. 100%. Congratulations, boys.
I think they can successfully say they have the most successful road racing Chevy Monte Carlo,
true Monte Carlo. Yes.
That generation Chevy Monte Carlo in history. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Judges was Flatball Racing for having the better Lancia Scorpion. There were 2 different Scorpions in the race. Org Choice was an 82 Escort Pony. Little Hesh, I believe, was the team name.
4-speed, completely stock, down to the Douglas 13-inch all-season tires.
It was a beautiful color. Yes. It was awesome.
The
patina was lovely.
The patina was fantastic. It failed tech several times.
Someone had ground down every single weld on their whole cage. Every single weld.
Yeah.
So they had to weld every single weld again.
Yeah.
How much of that now? And I know that's very troublesome and annoying, and I know that the tech inspectors don't like to do that, but they got to do it for safety. But I can name at least 3 people that were in that paddock that were like, fake mad. Oh, darn. I have to go weld. And it's not even like they had to do cutting and notching. All they got to do was run a bead. I imagine they could have like sold tickets like Tom Sawyer whitewashing a fence. Nothing I'd rather do than weld up a cage.
I don't know. They were over in the Black Lake. We never ventured over there to see how the other half lives.
We did. We drove the little bikes over, remember?
Yeah, barely. Okay.
Yeah. Scrooge went to
everybody was gone when we went over.
Yeah.
Mental, over engineered, they have the E12 BMW that is WD-49.
I know. And I saw the pictures.
Yeah, they don't anymore.
I cried a little because we all love Sharknose 5 Series.
Yeah, I think it was beautiful. They also have a Mini Cooper, which they unveiled at Pittsburgh, and they put that into the wall at the same exact place they put their BMW in the wall. So that's how you get Screwed.
And that's a shame. They're across the board a good team.
Oh yeah, great guys. And they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll get it back. So
I believe them.
Yeah,
they'll get it back before the Z comes back, even though it's just as bad. Because
Heroic Fix will go to the Baja Boosters. This is the Mazda MX-3 that we had to fix, right?
Yeah.
Is that who this was?
Yeah.
Chris, tell them about this because my audio is terrible.
Well, we saw them coming out of penalty and judging in the morning. Like the race is about to start. It's not started yet. And the driver is holding the transponder in his hand. So we're like, no, dude, it's not an easy pass. You don't just hold it out to the window every time you cross the line.
And he said something like, we're supposed to put this on the car.
Yeah. Yes.
Like he was looking at his
are.
friends like, what are we supposed to do with this again?
Yeah.
Sorry, Chrissy,
so we took them under our wing, right to our paddock there. And then we started looking around.
Oh.
All right, guys, this is going to take a while. First thing I noticed, the driver who was belted in, his belts were around the side of his Hans. The Hans is just like a decorative necklace. It's just flopping around. So I went to try to put those over. I couldn't because the belts were fully extended on this very, very small gentleman that was in the car, who was much smaller,
like 85 pounds,
right, than the three big dudes that were also around. So they were going to work for him. I said, okay, fine, let me adjust the belts. I go to adjust the belts. The top loop had never been put back around the top on the belts. All right, let's keep going. And then the car wouldn't start. Why won't it start? Well, the negative battery terminal was loose. So take the thing off. Oh, not only that, the battery wasn't really tied down. Well, let's fix that too. Then we're in the hatch doing all that. And you know what? The hatch is full of crap, like just dirt and slag and sticks and metal shavings.
Everything.
There were woodland creatures. So we get a vacuum from Dave, Uncle Dave. Jeff's vacuuming the back out while I'm tightening
all the while.
Battery cable.
I'm sitting with Kim, and Kim can see us. And I said, we're helping them, and we're still helping them. Oh God, they're getting the vacuum out. Like we're still helping. Kim's like, you're saving lives.
Pretty much. They were also running a tire brand that even I have never heard of.
And you wandered into the Asian section at SEMA.
I know. And it's none of those. I don't even know what it was. I don't know. No clue. These poor people were so hopeless, but good for them. They failed tech several times. I don't know how they got signed off to go out on the track when we found them, but whatever.
Yeah, they weren't going to get on track anyway because they weren't going to pass the belt check.
Yeah.
Like Ken would have been like, what caught happened
totally.
Back, so
they were paddocked in the unused part of the oval, like way over there. So anyone's been at Thompson knows, like no one paddocks over there. Well, they were, and they were doing a motor swap over there.
They did a motor swap too.
4-cylinder MX-3. Yeah, that's why they got.
I don't know that they completed said motor swap, but I don't know that
that's what they got Heroic Fix because they were really sad start to story weekend, but they finished.
They did. They were on the track at the end, and they got a lot of black flags too. So
yeah,
I'm sure they're driving.
It was a rough weekend.
So the regional award, and I'm going to screw it up because it's another language, went to the regional award was called this week.
Do you want me to do it, Jeff?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, go for it.
Waarvoor Stoorde du Klassiker.
Which I know what that means.
What does it mean?
What's it mean?
Why
you ruin classic?
Nice.
I knew what it means because they said it. And I believe it is in Swedish.
I think so because it's a Saab motor.
Yeah,
with
so
half
it
of a
was-
Nissan chassis.
Oh yeah, that
with
sounds
a
like
Ford
what you buy
Falcon
at,
over the top.
that sounds like what you buy.
Jeff, you looked at
at
this car. Tell us what this is.
I did. So this is the Rust in the Wind 300ZX, the Z31 version. And they cut out the front. They cut the car in half and they put the front under the front of the Falcon and the back of a different Z31 under the back of the Falcon. And then they added 18 inches of homemade car in the middle. So it's a unibody car that they split in half, lengthened, and then put a Falcon as a hat. And it was fantastic, and it looked great, and it was very well done. And it ran. When it ran, it went around like stink.
Well, that car was fast before. They've won.
Those guys know how to
haven't they?
drive too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Nice. So they won. Instead of sticking with something boring, they
They
made
hacked it up. They hacked up their
Nice.
winning car. Absolutely.
It looked great
Nice.
out there. It looked
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome.
Listener feedback time.
And we had lots of great pictures and comments for the whole weekend and people talking and tagging us on stuff. And we love it. Keep doing it. More on that in just a second. But the legendary Judge Phil dared to question the ingredients of our world famous Wartburgers. And he asked if they were, quote, East German style hamburgers made with extra sawdust and chicken beaks, which is an obvious Phil-esque kind of reference to the former Soviet bloc, as he is often wont to do.
He loves Eastern
Happily,
European
He
dictators.
does. It's strange. Happily, Chrissy was not alone in her defense of the delicious Three Pedal Mafia trackside dinner staple.
Scott McM chimed in about the Wartburgers, can confirm even outsiders like him. More so, our recent co-host and second listener, Bill F., seconded the sentiment. Longtime listener Jen S. also make sure we didn't forget the cookies, like we could ever forget the cookies. We'd probably leave the car home, bring the cookies. People would be less upset.
Right. People don't want us to be there. They'd be like,
No.
no. I promptly showed her the cookies were out. Thank you. Thank you. For the remaining listeners, like Fier O'Brien, who is wondering a Wartburger, what a Wartburger actually is, it harkens back to our first race with, you may have guessed, a Wartburg. The Wartburg 311 was a car produced in communist East Germany from 1956 to 1965. Hence Judge Phil's joke about the filler material. You can actually still read about this whole saga on the Lemons forums. The Wart, W-A-R-T, Burger came from being a culinary mastermind this is Chris's culinary mastermind and efficiency expert. I won't even take credit for it. In preparation for that race, he concocted and prepared said burgers that included all the toppings that you'd ever need inside the bacon and burger. Onions, mushrooms that are cooked in bacon fat, along with panko, cheese, and spices. A classic was born, and they have been served at 3 p.m. all the 3 p.m. races. And they're so good. They're served at our wedding. And Wartburger, I don't know if that's where he coined his Wartburger, Aaron.
He solidified it there at least.
Yes.
For those of you who have not met Aaron, our friend on our team, he is what we term a luxury mammal. And there is nothing he likes better than beef in his mouth. And he will sit there like this, like,
Good. I mean,
Are
good.
there seconds? Has everyone had one yet? Can I get another?
Hold on.
He waits patiently. He even
he's
calls
very
out.
patient.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very polite.
Yes, absolutely. We'll give him, as much as he's the word burglar, he's the polite word burglar. Like, I want to let you guys know, before I steal these, I want to make sure you've all had one.
Actually,
right?
last time I said, there's some more over there. You can have them. He's like, are you sure? Yes. I think everybody's eaten. You're fine.
Yeah. 5-minute warning. I'm going back. You got 5 minutes.
We brought two home. So that means, and Chris has been eating them all week. So there were extra.
True. Yep.
He could have eaten
He's
another
not
one.
really
Sorry.
the wart burglar. He's more the wart wimpy. He's like, I'll gladly have a second hamburger if there is one left.
But of all the words that can describe Aaron, wimpy, not
You're
one of
right,
them.
You're right.
Yeah. True.
I'll gladly race your race car for you if I could only have another wart burger.
I'll gladly weld up your poorly designed cage if I
I
could
will
only
fix that hunk of crap you have.
Speaking of hunks of crap, we have the lovely I Suck at Racing Lemons iRacing League is back in full swing. So Sunday night we had full 4 races. It was awesome. It started with the no pedal, no wheel invitational on the road course at Pocono. Tyler was back with his French horn. In the booth was Lady A, Randy Bish, and later Ron Harrington. Then we headed over to Concord, which is a paved oval that once existed in North Carolina. It's now the housing development for Kias via Mustangs at night. That was hysterical. That evening wrapped up with 2 races of V Sanity, which is Formula V's at the Crandon off-road track. Tomorrow, or today as you're listening to this, is the Funduro at Barber. Practice is opening at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Green flag is at 8 Central Standard Time. It's going to be a 120-minute race, 4 fast repairs, 14 drive-through penalties, or rather, if you get 14 points, you're getting a drive-through penalty. It's team driving, 1 to 3 drivers per team with a 30-minute fuel limit. So you're going to have to pit. GT4s, McLaren's, Porsches, BMWs, Class A's, Street Stocks, and the FR 500s. Class B is going to be Skip Barbers, the TDIs, and the MX5s. We're really excited at that. We're back doing that. And I even watched another bearded sim race. He was doing all Porsches at Daytona. And again, great broadcast, a lot of fun.
That's great. Just him in the booth?
Just him doing the tech stuff. Yeah. But it was me, Lady A, and Ron Harrington were doing the running mouth commentary. Yeah.
Great. It's awesome.
Or were you asking the Porsche race? Was that?
I was asking.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm sorry. The Porsche race, he had professional, like actual racer commentators, guys. Misunderstood the question. Yeah. So same quality camera work, not a, semi-intoxicated, Virginia-based journalist on her 5th beer,
Not nearly as many penis jokes, I assume.
True. Yeah.
Well, we went racing. E1R went racing. I wasn't there because I was still coming off the race hangover from Thompson. But we went to Barber for prep for Friday's Lemons Enduro. Race 1, AA Ron had the win as Uncle Dave did a wiener stomp right at the end. He said he was leading and then he just kind of screwed it all up. Uncle Dave pulled out the win in the second race. I can say recently I was interacting on the social medias with the old Apex adjacent guys, and they all now have new sim setups, and I invited them to our Monday night races. So if you're listening to us and you enjoy the Monday night races, reach out to those guys and convince them that they should come race with us, because they're doing so well not embarrassing us in the Formula One league.
Hey, they have yet to experience surprise butt sex, so
that's true.
Happen.
Actually,
are you sure?
They had an episode. Yeah,
no, it's true.
They had an episode where they did a tour of their sim rigs, and they linked. I reached out to them. They linked me up to an Etsy maker who makes 3D printed shift gates. So it is now being shipped according to my Etsy update. I have a Ferrari style gated shifter en route for my Logitech.
Well, lottie frickin' da.
Lottie frickin' da.
You know who doesn't care if she has a gated shifter on her Mazda 5, even though she does, because it's one of those Mercedes style ones.
That's good.
It's Chrissy's mom.
I didn't think anybody was going to take that bait, but I thought I would try anyway.
It was too late by that point. We already moved on.
That's fine. Yours is good. I like it.
Yeah.
So we haven't mentioned this, but Mental, you've been gone for a while. We didn't say welcome back, Mental.
Thank you.
Hair is longer.
Yeah, it is a little. It's a civilian Mental length hair. Still fantastic. Still super jealous. But we are planning on doing our 200th episode celebration next week on our 200 the week after.
The week after.
Mental booked a guest without talking to any of us, so that changed that.
Actually, I talked to Jeff. I did.
Sorry, he didn't look at a calendar.
You guys were at the Cape. I'm so sorry.
It was 205. I didn't think we'd be doing anything for 204. Anyway, we are going to do a live show.
Eventually.
Someday.
We promise we will.
2 weeks, I promise. But we are reminiscing about past shows. And tonight we're going to really quick go around the horn and talk about our most improved moment. No, it is not my audio at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible.
What's your degree in?
Shut up.
Dude.
What is it that we have gotten good at because of the show?
And it's not broadcasting.
It's
not podcasting at all.
Editing.
No, not that either.
Because we've never done it. Ugh.
So I'm going to tell you what I'm good at, and then I'm going to shut up because my audio stinks and let you guys talk about it. But I love what we do on our social media. Chrissy and I went to those SEMA classes, and I never really cared. And I never really thought about social media as like a tool for getting more listeners. And I love when I do that. I love going on other people's podcasts and hawking the show. I love what we're putting out on YouTube. I love like thinking about how the algorithms work and how to get ourselves noticed. It's something I never would have done before without a podcast that I, by the way, I make no money on. It just costs me like, like some,
brain cells,
hall passes from the wife
Yep.
for every Tuesday. So yeah, that's what I love. I love kind of interacting with the fans and trying to build the audience. And I really
using those tools as they're intended really has brought some great people into our orbit. I think that's, yeah.
Who else has something?
I think that I feel, at least I was going to say good at, but at least feel confident at being somewhat commentators. So I think when we've done Lemon's iRacing, I think it's that, but also I have like recently I'm in as part of a United Way committee, which many of you may have heard that, last couple of years I've done something with that, but we were talking about doing a commentator for a cornhole event, if we can have it live. And I'm like, I totes could do that. But I'm like, I don't want to tell work that I'm like, yeah, I can just be the commentator because I'm just like the quietish person. No, not quiet, but anyway.
I'm sure you're going to say all the jokes that I used on Saturday night when we were playing Fling the Dawn.
I'm sure I'm not going to, because I'm going to be quoting execs and asking them what they're feeling like. But I'm actually, it's the confidence that I feel like I could probably pull this off because.
Oh, you absolutely could.
I know.
You totally could. You need to do that.
But I wouldn't have
brilliant.
I wouldn't have done it if we hadn't had this experience. So that's mine.
Cool. I think we've gotten better at winging it. Whatever it is that we're doing, we need to figure it out that day before, or right now. We got better at that.
I'm the other way around. I think we've gotten better at like researching stuff.
I said that's just you and me, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think some of our best shows are the ones that like 2 weeks out, you're like, hey, let's do a show on this. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. I'm gonna have to go read.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Chris, it is I stand there too, is we don't have to have it all mapped out. I would say Jeff and I have gotten a lot better about crap. We should actually do some research on this, and you've gotten a whole lot more comfortable with stepping into something cold.
Yeah. But I think our show is better when it's not scripted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Have bullet points. We'll talk about in general on our points, where that comes from.
But then
wing it.
Fuck it. We're doing it live.
Yep. Wing it.
Mental, what are you glad to be?
Along that subject, I think adapting to new cars and tracks. If we go way back to when we first started, it was a whole thing that we were going on our Ross Bentley things, and it was something Chris had recommended about being able to put yourself in the zone. When you know the car, the track, you're feeling good, and you're not even thinking about driving. You're just driving well and smooth, and you're not tense. And adapting to do that in a new car at a new track. As we talked about this shows, we've met great people. We've expanded our network. I've met amazing racers and great teams and fantastic cars. And these cars are all completely different. In one weekend, I was driving the wet ass Pontiac, the Solstice, and the Omega, back to back. And these cars are built completely different. For the longest time, it was the Honda and the truck, or the Honda and the boat. And you could just really build a very familiar sense with that. They had a dedicated approach. So now I've had great opportunities, but I've had to get in these cars dead cold. Flight was delayed, or I couldn't get out of work, and I show up and it's race day. Get in a car. You ever been around this track? Nah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And genuinely, I feel like I'm up to pace a lot faster than I used to be. It used to take me 5 to 10 laps. And I feel like now I can get up to a good pace in a car, probably in a lap or two. Chrissy?
That's because you're a seed whore.
A bit. I am. And I would be king of the seed whores if it wasn't for Pantless Matt. last year's national drivers champion bastard.
That's because you're a dude, not a dick.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Right. Most days.
All right. With that, let's talk about Thompson.
Topic time.
I like how he flaps the microphone. Like it just sounds like.
I'm trying to get that Whitney Houston.
That didn't work. Nope, didn't work.
All right.
No.
So anyway,
I want to hear Mental Try more. Hang on.
Okay. So I'm trying to announce the main topic time.
What?
Main topic time. We were at Thompson. We just got back from Thompson. Mental,
we?
you weren't there, but feel free to chime in on all of this because you're a Thompson reigning champion, or at least were for about a
year,
almost a week ago.
I know.
So
it was genuinely emotionally painful not to be able to be there. Even if I knew we knew early on that there probably wasn't going to be a seat, but I actually really almost wanted to come out there, but just with my new job, there was no way I was going to be able to make that happen. So
yeah. How do we want to do this? Do we want to do this day by day?
I think chronologically.
Who has something for Thursday? I'll do something Thursday.
Sure,
hey,
yeah.
Thompson, thanks for letting us in.
Yep.
Seriously.
Thanks for giving us
worse than that mad dash on Friday morning. And I'm sure
let's
overnight
take it back.
employees-
Take the whole story. No, just let's tell the whole story in case you weren't there before or don't know what happened before.
We mentioned it last week, but we'll say it again. The Thompson is letting us in Thursday night, but usually they don't. So usually a whole bunch of racers crash in the parking lot of the Walmart. They get drunk, they go inside, they harass the employees. They don't harass the employees. They spill stuff, they laugh, they do what drunk people do.
You buy Fantastic Sharks.
Yeah, buy Fantastic Sharks. And then on Friday morning, they opened the gate and we are all like at 7 a.m. with our motors revving.
Blocking the road for a moment.
Blocking the road. Yep, absolutely.
And they have one person there and they can't get us all in. It takes us forever to check in and we are rushing to try and set up camp while testing is starting. So it's just great to get in Thursday night and have all of that done. And
maybe they listen. Maybe they listened to the show and went, oh, this is a point we can improve.
No.
Of anyone, they specifically don't listen to us.
I think that the track employees have killed themselves and then they've tried to recover because they've said, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. We need to fix this process. Even though tiny, though the track management there is fantastic. They have been fantastic, but they continue to be fantastic with different people. And even Kim and Lemon's leadership says how great they are to work with. So
and you're right. They've had turnover.
Yes,
it's not the same people, and the people keep getting replaced with just as wonderful people.
Yep, and we even dealt with some of them on Friday morning when they said, what's going on at all the parties and what's happening with all these things. Tell us the time, how big is it,
very
how much electricity they need. I mean, they're wonderful. They just kept being accommodating. They're like, what can we do to help you? Not what's going to happen so we can shut you down or be pissed at you. It was really helpful information. So they're really good to work with. But also on Thursday, while thankful, they give us a very small window. Chris and I pushed this to the last minute to try to get there. We tried a different route. We thought this route might be better than the worst route, not as good as the better route, and it was terrible. We were going through like 1-lane roads, and it was.
I was hustling that trailer through some 1-lane roads. Yeah,
we were at
roads with the kind of roads that don't have lines on them.
No,
that's the kind of roads we're going.
Oh no, and I was like, wait, those trees might hit us. Oh, okay, and that's good.
Jim and I usually take those roads with the trailer on the back of the RV.
Holy crap.
And we went the other way this time. We took 95 all the way up, and it was much nicer. And even though it's a little longer, I think that's going to be the way.
We were concerned about traffic. We left late. We knew that we had to be there by 10 o'clock. Our window was somewhere between, at some point was saying we would arrive at 9:37, and then it bumped up to 9:45 and 9:50. We rolled it in 9:51. So it was really
with the road closed as we get near the track and the tiny back roads.
Random road closed.
Great.
And Chris is like, well, where do I go? I don't know. I haven't
Through the
rode.
barriers.
You're looking
No.
at the map.
Oh, well, I wasn't looking at the map. Whatever. Anyway, it was tight for us. So we were stressed, and then we got there and everybody was already partying hard. So
Yep.
Thursday worked out well for us. All good. Woke up Friday, rocking. Chris starts off on Friday.
So we had everything ready to go Thursday night, basically. Friday, we all got actually up at a pretty reasonable hour, like pretty early. Made breakfast. We had pancakes and deliciousness. And the driver's meeting was at 9:45 for the 10 o'clock track meeting. The driver's meeting is basically, so there's a blend line, goes all the way down to turn 1 now. Don't cross it.
Do not cross the blend line.
That's a change. That's interesting.
Some you guys know the flags, right?
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I
All right.
love the new blend line.
That's the driver's meeting. And then someone's like, there's questions. Someone's like, yeah, can we have passengers? I don't know. It's up to you guys.
Awesome.
All right,
Yeah.
Thompson, man.
Oh.
Okay.
And it's cheap and it's all day.
Like anything else? No.
Best
Best testing.
Yeah.
race testing
Best
ever.
testing
So
day
just-
in Lemons.
So none of this session stuff, just open
Yeah.
testing.
Open
Well,
track
there's
day,
lunch.
lunch break. That's
Okay.
it.
One-
Well, 'cause
1:30 to
the quarter
1:50.
workers, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's $150. You
Man.
stick a band around the
With-
cage in the
Yeah,
car.
per
With
car, any driver
passengers.
you want.
Hey, driver you want, exactly. And passengers. So we had a
And any
wonderful,
passenger.
wonderful testing
We
day.
took random dudes.
As long as you had a
Kelly
blue
from-
wristband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you sign the waiver, you could be a passenger.
Fantastic.
Great.
Other
Yeah.
tracks, listen.
note. They had a packed house of cars for this testing day because everyone said, hell yeah.
I think all three of our cars tested, right?
Were there
Yeah.
were there any non-lemon cars that jumped on it, or was it only for
No,
lemons?
only
All
lemons.
lemons.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But with 104 lemons cars, I bet we probably had 60 of them out there. Easy.
Oh yeah. Well, $150. Yeah, you're
Everyone's out there. It was
Yeah.
great. So Mazda was ready when it rolled in. I got it ready. So, 10:15, I went out, did some laps. Car felt great. I figured out where shift points are, which is basically onto the straight and off of the straight. It was really simple. Otherwise, just leave it in third. Set some lap times. We got to play with some telemetry. Thanks to Bill for use of a whole wide variety of various telemetry systems, mostly the Apex Pro we were playing with this weekend. So that was great to use. I did a few lap times. Then I think I took Jeff out for a little bit.
Yep.
We had a little time out there, which is great. Everything in the car was working wonderfully. So then we sent everybody else out to go run their times with the telemetry. And I'll talk about how that worked, later, but it was great to be able to actually put all 4 drivers out in a car that is running reliably and consistently, is easy to drive on a track we all know. And with time that we actually got to use our time to look at the telemetry together and say, compare laps and say, well, okay, who's faster where? Why are you faster? Let's think about this. Let's talk it through, and then go back out again to improve on things. Like, it was a wonderful testing day.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A flawless is what I wrote.
Well, Jeff, take it over.
Yeah. So I went out with Chris, like he mentioned, to get my expectations set. And then I did about a half hour. Chris had already set a fast lap of, I believe, a 127.
128.
128. Okay. I went out and I just got into the 129s and I felt fantastic. I was happy. I was ready to go. We already mentioned that we then conferred with data and we looked at a few things. More importantly, I looked at the tires and I just, like Chris was.
Oh, it's true. We did a
struggling.
lot of tire telemetry.
Yeah.
We did
A lot
tire
of tire testing.
temp
a lot
and
of tire
pressure
testing,
stuff.
Being pressures.
So we figured out where we are.
But
those.
what the expectation that Chris kind of set while I was in the right seat was how much tire noise, where and when. And when I went out and did it, and I came back and we flipped the tires and I saw no damage. The RS4s are amazing, but that's what gave me the confidence, is seeing what Chris did, saying, okay, that's how much we can abuse the tires. And then I went out and did it and I got a pretty good time. And then I came back and I looked at the tires and it convinced me that it was the right amount of howl for them.
Sure. Well, based on the temperatures we were getting out of them, they were doing just fine.
Yeah.
By the way, RS4's 35 PSI hot seems to be a great setup if you have enough camber.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the afternoon, I'll just say this real quick because it's a funny story. We were giving rides to other people, and Momrath brought a few of their non-drivers because we had a seat and they didn't. And Chrissy, I'll tell you about, she took out, but I took out some young guy. I don't even know.
Jamie's cousin or something.
Jamie's
I think
cousin
it was.
who's going to start doing lemons or something. And I said, like, did you puke? Like, thumbs up means I'm going to keep going. Point means please take me back. Thumbs down means I'm going to puke. Like, we need to know. He's like, I'm not going to puke. I'm not going to puke. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. So then we went out and, like, you kind of do a warm up lap. Like, you don't really hammer it when you have someone new in the car. And the car totally had a hiccup, which Chris can explain, but the check engine light came on and the power steering stopped working. So I kind of screamed like, there's something wrong with the car and we're going to go in, but he didn't hear me. So I started pulling into the pits and he went, is that it? Is that all the ride I get? I was like, no, something's wrong with the car, dude. Don't worry. So we checked out the car. Everything was fine. We cycled the key. I went out and I clicked a set of 130s and 131s like clockwork for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I sure did.
He gave me the thumbs up every single lap. He had a blast. I was talking to him. I was like, that's a 130. That's a great lap. And I was like, oh, that was a 132. We got hung up. It was fantastic. That was Friday.
Awesome.
Chrissy?
Yeah.
What about this? What's about this? Oh no, I'm in trouble thing.
Oh, that's later. That's Saturday.
Okay.
Sorry. I had a similar instance. I think we did pretty well with fantastic. I thought it was pretty good. We used a lot of data. I used a lot of data, but before we went out, we conferred. We talked about breaking points. We talked about shifting points. So that was good. And I thought my stint was good. I don't remember the times. They weren't that close to Chris's.
I think it was a 131.
Yeah, you were
like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think I made 130s, but I was 131. And the problem is once you go over the hill, you have a straight that's not quite a straight, but you have plenty of time before you get to the start finish that clicks off the time. So you're like, I think this is good. And you're like, come on.
On the telemetry that's in the car that you're watching. That's what she means.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're like, oh, I passed 123. I'll get there.
That's good.
24, 25, 26,
30.
9.
Oh, no, because you have plenty of time to look at it especially when testing day, because there's not a lot of cars around. So that was good. We had a great time with, I brought out Kelly, which is Brandon from Momrath's lady friend. Don't know, not which her what she is. It's her first time in a race car. So I was like, cool, we'll see how this goes. But she did great. We did a thumbs up every other lap at least. She was fine. She got out. She seemed okay. I didn't hear anything worse after she got out. We had a good time. So yeah, it was
and
good.
they were very thankful because they have been trying to get out on the track for a long time. Kelly, I think, has suited up like 3 times.
Oh, she was doing fuel stops for them. So she suits up, somebody's leftover suit. She suits up and does fuel stops.
Oh, no. I mean, she's like strapped into our car and then not been able to get out.
Oh, yeah. So she came over and you're like, oh, Jeff's like, oh, you're going out? Yeah, I'm going out. Okay, bring her. Okay, it's cool. Let's go. So yeah, we had a great time. So after we got off track, it was good. We had a great track walk. So there was a lot of confusion on the track walk. So while the Thompson track is great, they had multiple things planned at the same time, like the drivers meeting. Yeah, whatever you decide, cool. They were going to have a actual bike race, like a legit actual bike race.
Pedal bike.
I'm sorry. Pedal bike.
Bicycle.
Awesome.
While we were doing a track walk.
And then there were people running too. For some reason that was happening too.
Well, I think the runners were racers that were just running it.
Oh, okay.
I think they didn't look that official, but legit the bike race, cyclist race was, with microphones and a tape and like legit race.
So we had to be off the track at 6:30.
Well, no, they were like, well, you just
7:30, whatever it is.
The track was like, well, the people can walk it while they're racing. And I was like,
no.
So we have like 20. 25 people. We stand there. We've got kids and dogs, and we like scuff
And
ourselves.
like,
We sit on.
yeah,
we
this is
like a
lay
bike
on the.
goes by at like 40
We lay on
miles
the
an hour.
track, and we like touch it. And I was like, we can't just like when the one kid runs that way and kid hits the bicyclist, we can't do that.
Yeah, this is one of those great crashes they always show on the Tour de France where like somebody steps over a barrier and takes out 70 of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there was only like 25 cyclists, but Kim's like, I'm trying, find the time. And I was like, you tell us the time and we'll start the walk, right? We'll tell people when they need to start and stop, but you have to give us like, is it 5 to 6:30 or is it
the bicycles went out before us, which is great.
That's what
they got
decided,
they got theirs done, cleaned everything up, no problem. Anyway, so it was a great, nice track walk. We met some new listeners, people that we didn't really know before, which was nice to have. Had a good time. I think we helped out. Hopefully that people seem to like it. So we're going to keep doing those. We like them.
Outstanding. I bet the bicyclists would have been faster if they'd made the track walk.
Probably.
Oh,
and then we had wart burgers and hot tub time and shenanigans ensued.
Always fun.
As usual.
Not as fun as Saturday night though.
Saturday.
Oh. All right. Saturday.
Let's go.
Who started off Saturday? Jim started Saturday.
Yes.
Did fine. No problem.
Did everything you needed to do.
Yep.
Got us up to like
in the
20th, I think, or high teens.
High teens, 17, 18, I thought.
Yeah. Great.
I got
great.
in.
Did a good pit stop. Chrissy gets in.
Yep.
Actually, there were some yellow and red flags even first thing in the morning. No one got hurt. Like no big deal. The red flag was, I think, an accidental red flag-ish, or
no, they
like there was
said
some fluid on the track, maybe.
And they said it was blocked. So I think two cars went off, and they were and they couldn't start, and they were blocking the track.
Okay,
the actual track.
Yeah.
So I think there was all of these things. They said this is enough for us to stop. So nobody got hurt, I think, but that's what they said. It was actually blocked, and having that with two cars in the same place were going to be enough to be a problem.
Yeah.
But because of those flags, Jim was able to go 2.5 hours on fuel, which is about all the car had. That's good for that car, as we'll find out.
Not
as we
true.
Keep going. I said that's good for that car.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mental.
How did Jim do with 2.5 hours in the car? Because I know this is, by his own admission, something he wanted to work on.
He was fine, but we never tried to get him back out again. So.
Well,
also,
we'll talk about how
the Mazda also is just so easy to drive. Like the Civic is an assault on everything that you have. It just beats you up.
Yeah.
The Mazda is like, all right, how long you want to go?
Right. This is like, do you want to go to Costco again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Let's go to Costco again.
All right.
So 25th time.
So then Chrissy got in.
Yeah. So I got in. It was a fine shift. The only problem, the one bigger problem that I had is that I didn't have a cool shirt, because I had a cool shirt that worked, but if the piping was leaking, so every time I turned it on, I got a ball misting. I don't have balls, but that's what Jim was calling it, a ball misting. So my crotch was getting wet, and I was like, so what do I do? I was like, let me fix it, and they're like, no, stay out. I said, okay. So
turn it on only once in a while.
So I turned it on every once in a while, get my pants wet. And I was like, I promise I'm not peeing in the seat. Everything's just getting wet. So it was fine. I got in after Jim, and I was fast enough, and I kept pushing. I was dicing. It was good. I was trying to push I had a couple corners that I was really working hard. Midway through my shift, I realized that the couple corners that I was really struggling with, my eyes were just down at the apex. Absolutely. I was like, oh no, I must slow down to this turtle space, because it was looking right at the apex. And then all of a sudden I was like, look over at that cone every time. And I was like, no problem, done. It worked. I fixed it midway through. I got legit pushed off track. I did not mean to get off track. Jeff found the picture of me actually off track. I did not get a flag for it. I was driving my line, no problem at all. And all of a sudden this guy comes into me, hits me in the passenger side. Not too much.
You were all the way on the left of the track. And he hits you, which is important to say. You weren't just driving your line. No, you were on the left curb, and you were hit in the right doors and pushed off of the track. Like you could not go any further left.
No, I was in the dirt.
It's not like you were. It's not like you were turning right and there was someone there.
No,
you were on the left curbing and got bumped off.
I was, and I was like, well, if we went 3 wide, you thought somebody else was coming into you, and you came to me, but we're pretty sure. So actually, one of Jonah, the one guy who actually won B, saw it happen, and he was like, no, I legit saw them push you off track, and I was like, well, thanks for confirming, but I don't go off track.
He thinks they were watching him in their mirrors, trying to keep him behind them. And doing so, they weren't paying attention and bumped you off and put the first actual real dent in the Mazda. And every one of us was so happy it was you driving.
That's right.
And that happened. But Mental, your penalty of whoever gets the first dent in the Mazda has to buy the Civic.
Fine,
Guess
we
what?
already have it.
Already happened.
Already bought.
Chrissy already bought the Civic.
No problem. All good.
How did you feel about putting the first dent in it?
Oh, I'm so freaking pissed. I'm so pissed. Like, it's one thing if I did it and if I had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it.
And the car that hit her is it's hit everything but the lottery.
Everything but the lottery.
Absolutely.
It is so freaking messed up. And I was like, when it pulled in for something else, because it hit something else, they were looking at something else. And I was like, I'm looking for the white scratches because they legit just came into me for no reason. And I was already off track, right? Like they said, and there's no reason for it. So that's why I'm pissed.
And neither of you got flagged.
Yeah.
No, but if I had something to do with it, then I would feel better about it. But anyway,
it's right. We're gonna work it into the next theme, so it's all good.
My stint was
totally.
Totally
we are.
Yes, we are. My stint was great.
Great.
Awesome.
Jeff, how about you?
I brought it in at 13th.
15th, I think.
Okay. I
thought it was
13th.
like 13th or 14th.
I think it's 13, 14th is what it was. And then by the time, I think it was 14 by the time we had pit stop.
So I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm an amazing race car driver.
Also, I went 3:45.
2.5, honey. 2.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2:45.
2.5. 2.5.
Okay.
2.5.
Yes, you went 2.5.
Exactly 2.5. You wanted to get out of the car. You were saying, I want to get out of the car right now. You didn't have fuel cut, but you were saying, I want to get out of the car. So we got you out of the car at 2:30.
But no, it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Now here comes my joke. I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm an amazing race car driver. I went out there and I won the race immediately.
Totally,
I was
you did.
The best ever. I was slaying it. I was dicing the traffic. I was like hitting all of my marks. Everything was perfect. There was very little yellow flag, some yellow flags. And I'm like, I'm winning I'm amazing. I cannot be stopped. And then I call Chris in and I'm like, hey, Chris, I don't know how I'm doing out there, but I got 1/8 of a tank, buddy. And I don't know what's going on. Like how long I got left in my shift. And
Chris looks at me and was like, he did not just say an 8. And we can't hear you because your mic sucks.
My microphone is terrible.
You have to replace that for next race.
Yes,
have to replace.
And Chris is
I've already got it ordered.
He didn't say 8.
I said
no,
8.
he must not have said 8.
I said 8. So Chris says, hey, buddy, you got to slow down. You got 45 minutes left. And my brain.
A 2-hour shift. You were in an hour and 15 minutes.
Not 2.5. I was an hour and 15 minutes. And my brain went, oh no, I'm not going to make it. I don't have 45 more. I looked down at the gauge when you said you have 45 more minutes, and it was already between an 8 and an E. I was like, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
So yeah, so I backed.
But you made it.
Backed it out. I was like, I did not go full throttle for the next 45 minutes. I was brushing the brakes and doing a lot of coasting. It was the most interesting, intriguing, because I wanted to keep on time. And I'm sure my time slipped a little, but
you did, but not as much as you think.
No, I don't think it was that bad when I looked at it. I lost a second or two, but whatever. I had to make the window, and I made the window. And you were like 2 more, and I'm like, I hope I make it.
Because I was just getting dressed because we weren't quite there, but yeah.
So I did the 2 more, and I pulled it in, and then all 3 cans went in. These are 5-gallon tanks.
Well, the third one wasn't. There was
I didn't know that at the time. So I, you know,
By the way, it's a 14.2 gallon tank.
Yeah,
people.
14.2 gallon tank. He puts 3 cans in, and they all go empty. And whoever was putting the can in, was it Jim or Chrissy? I don't remember.
Jim, I think.
It was Jim. Yep. Jim kind of like usually it spits out, and I expected it to like get full and spit out, and it just kind of went all in. And Jim went, okay, and he pulled it out, like shrugged, and was like, I guess it's full. Put the cap on. And Chris got in. I looked at Chrissy. I said, he doesn't have enough fuel. He's gonna run out. Why didn't we put more fuel?
It was full.
In?
Two of them were 5.5, and one was 3. So that was 14
I'm sorry,
gallons.
that's not how that conversation went. Jeff was
I
flipping
was like,
out.
Why didn't we put more fuel?
I said,
in?
Chris said, you pick your fuel. You fill your fuel. You fill your crap. You put in
I had
whatever
14
you want.
gallons. The car doesn't take more than that. I was trying to minimize the splashback.
I used every ounce.
You did. Totally did.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to slow down.
Oh, you're a hot mess. Yeah.
Yes, I was driving 9/10. I need to drive 8/10 next time.
So then I get in. Immediately I say, this clutch doesn't feel right. I keep driving. A couple laps later, clutch really doesn't feel right. So then I proceed to drive my shift with no clutch.
You say not right, not engaging, not disengaging,
not disengaging fully. Like when I'm going to do the downshifts, it is definitely the synchro is working hard, and I'm waiting for the revs to match a little bit. And it's not working, and the pedal doesn't feel quite right. But definitely the way the shifter is going from 4th to 3rd down to the straight is not the way it was yesterday.
Okay, so you've got full pedal articulation, but not full mechanical articulation.
Yes. Yeah,
got it.
Something's not right. But then eventually I lost full pedal articulation too. That wasn't working either. So I proceeded to drive my shift with no clutch. Chrissy.
You just downshifting and upshifting once?
Yeah.
That's all you needed to do. But you also got a black flag.
I'm getting to
yours.
that. I'm getting
sorry.
to that. So
you drive your shift.
Someone interrupts me. So I drive my shift with no clutch. No clutch at all. So which is fine, heel and toe rev match downshift in the braking zone. I got good at it, just pop from 3rd to 4th coming up before they go over the hill. Okay.
So you didn't just leave it in 3rd.
No, I still shifted.
Okay.
I still shifted. I was
set. You could have left it in 3rd. And
down the straight, that would have been terrible. I would have rather leave it in 4th.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going, 85 on the straight, just sitting there at red line. That's terrible.
Right.
Where 4th you won't.
No, you're right, because I did a lot of laps in 4th.
Yeah, and you're okay. So
at the
I'm
end
going
of my shift. There was
no clutch.
3rd.
No clutch. I'm working it. I still get down to. I get a 130 flat in traffic. I get several of those working great. And then eventually I notice I'm using up a little too much gas too. So I start doing half throttle. That's the most I'm going to allow myself is half throttle, but still the same shift points. And I'm still setting mid 130.05, 130.07. So like, hell yeah, with half throttle, that's great. I'm still burning gas because the gas gauge we're learning, it takes a long time to get off full and like up down to a quarter. And then once it's past a quarter, it just falls like a rock. We're like, oh no. So we don't know how the gauge works yet. So and now at this point, I'm using 4th.
Wait. What you also forgot to mention is
I'm getting there
way past F.
Like E.
Way past E. Yeah. Like E is straight down. And you're at like 7:30 before
it goes back up. You're right. But we don't exactly know yet because we haven't really tried. So I'm using that. I'm using 4th and 5th. I'm still doing okay in my times, no problem. But also no clutch. And now then one time I come through 4, and in my corner of my eye, I see a red splash. Quick, hang on a second. And I look at the oil pressure gauge, and the next corner, it dips down. It's usually rock solid 70-ish pounds, right? And it dips down to 40 as I go through the next corner and then back up. Hang on a second. So I keep watching it. It's fine, except going through 4, the tightest corner. I'm easing off, and I go in, and again, as I come to that corner, oil pressure light comes on. This is the early warning oil pressure light. We have 2 of them. One is the stock one at 5 pounds. One is an early warning with a brighter light up higher at 17. That one's the one that comes on.
That's the pit now light.
That's you best watch this. I'm the only one that's allowed to have it come on more than once. So,
for the rest of us, it's the pit now light.
Yeah. The one on the dash is
shut it off.
Shut it off now. Like, yeah, exactly. So it comes on. I'm going through the corner and I see that the oil pressure's dropping down under 20. I'm like, oh shit.
Meanwhile, I'm already in the car going to buy clutch parts
because I've diagnosed this as I don't have a hydraulic isn't there. It's probably a slave cylinder because it's a 252,000 mile part. Let's go do that. Get it now. So the oil pressure is going down. And this is unusual because this car does not burn any oil whatsoever. We went through all of Pitt, all of Jersey and HPD and didn't add a drop. So something's wrong. Obviously something's wrong, but we have 15 minutes left in the day. Can I make it work with no clutch, no gas, and now no oil pressure? How long can I go? The oil pressure keeps getting worse to the point where I'm going 20 miles an hour around turn 4 to try to keep oil pressure in the car.
We should also mention we are deep in the top 10 at this point.
I'm 8th overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
8th overall and leading Class B when this happens.
And
So
we battled with the rest of them. They've dropped, they've come, they've dropped, they've come. And we said, this is the person you're battling. Like we are. I
had a great battle with Jonah. We had a lot of fun. So at this point though, we have 10 minutes left and the oil pressure is getting worse. We called it because I don't want to blow the motor up. It's not worth it.
Chris and I are on the radio and we say, like,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Like we can win. No. We're not going to win. We're not going to do an engine swap. Like that's
not going to worth it. Pull it in.
Oh no, we pull it in. We say, let's see if we want to put oil in.
Just
we
add a quart, right? Add 2 quarts.
We open the engine bay. We're like, holy shit. There's oil everywhere. It's all in the pan. It's all on the hood. It's all over everywhere. And we're like, shut it off.
Yeah, Chrissy, I see Chrissy and Jim open the hood and then I see them just not do anything while the hood is open.
I have the oil in my hand.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Yeah. And then you put it down.
Nope.
And then I went, oh,
nope.
Okay. I get it.
We're good, right?
So,
there's no putting.
So I got out of the car and we pushed it into the garage. What had happened is an oil cooler had cracked, not at any fitting, but where the fitting was welded to the top of the cooler. Before we even put on, it's an AN10 fitting at the top. Before we'd even screwed on our female AN10 fittings, where the male AN10 fitting was attached to the cooler from the factory, it cracked where that met at the base, and it was seeping out very clearly. Like once we turned the motor on with a light on, it was, oh, yep, there's your problem. So
something I don't think you guys have hit on, and you should be kind of proud of, because you did build an under tray for that car.
No, that's stock.
No.
The Z we built on. No, the Z we built on a tray.
Okay, so it's impressive that much oil, that it's alarming, like a crime scene when you open the hood. None of it got on the track.
No, not enough.
On the
I'm sure it was all over the car. It was all over the back of the car.
It was all.
We all spent the next 2 hours wiping oil off of every surface using 4 rolls of paper towels.
Some of
us,
I was like, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
We washed stuff on the side of the
Jim just would go under the car and go back out to the front and go into the car again, back out the front, and go into the car again, back out the front.
It was so gross.
We had the bumper off, cooler off. It was terrible. And then we said, okay, fine. Once it was clean enough to touch, and we looped the oil cooler out of the system to bypass it. Then we replaced the clutch slave, had trouble bleeding it, got it bled finally, and then watched it actuate and said, cool, put it down, torque the wheels, we're done, have a drink.
Yeah.
And we had a nice party.
I want to say that the physical putting of the slave on was simple as pie. Bleeding was a mother. But we got it done.
If you had a pressure on the reservoir at home, it would have been super easy. Yeah. The way it was, not so much. Anyway, we struggled with it for 45 minutes or an hour. It worked. It's done. Put the car in the ground. Had a good time. Had a wonderful version of our own Olympic sport that we've created. That come see us at New Hampshire. Yeah, come see us. Well, Eric came one. It was the International Dong Bouncing League Championship of America.
We also
we did have that featured in our Instagram story of Alex's video, because I saw the video on Facebook.
A video? There should not be videos.
I saw a video of Facebook of someone I didn't know hurling a dong. I'm like, who's this yo-yo? And then suddenly you see Chrissy come into the picture, go, no, and immediately begin correcting the technique.
No,
And I'm like,
there's
okay,
a
that's
video
proper.
of this?
Oh no, that should be the name.
no.
Oh
no.
Oh, this has a little bit further back. Anyway, there was also a half-assed potluck. There was a pig, two pigs that were
3/4 assed.
Well, the pig was full ass, but no one else brought anything.
The picture after the photos that you posted from the 2 years ago potluck. Holy crap and a half.
Yeah.
There was so much food there. There was not much food that was
they didn't advertise it well. They didn't advertise it.
No. So there was like a whole lot of baked beans, some rolls,
because we brought that
potato salad and pork. That's all that was at this potluck, which is kind of sad. And there was a band. The band was fantastic. So Greg
also brought by the 3-Pedal Mafia.
Totes. Greg brought his friends that were awesome in the paddock. They were fantastic in the paddock, and then they were fantastic as band. So we had a great time.
A little cover band with the rock and roll action.
They were
country twang on Friday night.
They were great, and it's not. Oh, they were what they did Friday and Saturday.
Friday night and Saturday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
all right. Great. So let's talk about Sunday at Thompson. Let me tell you how.
Oh, hang on just a second before we jump into that Sunday at Thompson. Let me see if I can get this to work. Oh, here we are. So there's that. I'm going to share the screen for a second.
Here's the reason we're on YouTube.
Yes.
God. Okay. Is this safe for work?
Can't really see.
Yeah, you can't really see what's going
really
on.
But here you see.
That's better. That's better that you can't really see.
No, I'm the Carney's helper. Okay.
No more. That's enough.
we don't want to get an SFW on our on our YouTube channel.
But I didn't know you guys didn't know there was a video because I was like, oh wow, they're using a trampoline.
We were
trampoline,
busy.
the Marmalade, and a hot tub. I'm
so
mad I'm not there.
Oh my god.
Yes, that was the second annual invitational because we did it at Jersey. True. Anyway, let's talk about Sunday at Thompson.
Sunday.
We're not allowed to start a race motor until noon. So really, this has become the new capital offense. This is the new summit point. Hide your wife, hide your kids. We're partying all night long. We had a live band. Luckily, no one got knifed and no one caught on fire, which has happened at previous Thompson.
Because Thompson is they do kind of I don't want to say condone, but they actually encourage people to have a good time.
Yeah. So
the fact that it's late, we race late and it's warm and we start at noon the next day means
you don't have to worry about
Caligula
over. Yeah, exactly. So since let me just check some story from Saturday. Chris, you said we just kind of closed the hood and fueled the car and figured we were done.
Yeah.
Did we drive the car around the paddock?
No, because it was 11:30 at night. They say
Sunday
no race motors after 8.
Sunday morning before the race. What do we do?
It's registered.
We push the car. We push the car over to there because they say no race motors. Okay. We saw the clutch worked. We watched the actuation.
And you could play the lawyer ball of it's got plates on it. But I do remember a couple of years ago when we started Godzilla, and at idle, Godzilla is very quiet. And within a minute, manager is in our face about
and he
it.
was
so
that guy was a dick about it too. He just was trying to be like yelling aggressive instead of saying, "Hey, we can't have any race motors till noon. Shut it off." He just said that. I said, "Oh, okay."
And
he just gets in my face.
Shut it off! Yeah, exactly. I think it's there because there is a church nearby, and they've probably had some incidents. So you could say, "Well, it was tagged. We could drive it around," but tracks that accommodating, not let the track look bad.
Saturday night at 11:30, we totally could have driven it around the paddock.
You were drinking.
We just said we're done. Well, we knew there was a problem. The clutch hydraulics were not working. We fixed
Jeff
that
had
problem.
One claw, so there's that.
We fixed the problem because it was no hydraulics. Now we have hydraulics. Great.
Actually, thanks to Jamie, I was several ciders in at that time.
Anyway.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm all suited up. I'm ready to dominate again because I am the best racer ever. And not the green flag. We enter. It's noon. We turn on the race cars. We start moving the race cars onto the track, and
Everyone except
everyone would accept us because I can't get the car to move.
Oh, everybody's like, go around.
Go, Jeff. And I'm like, I'm trying to go. I can't go. They're like, go, Jeff. Why don't you go? Because it won't go in gear. Yeah. This is when we knew we had problems. I would clutch, and even pump the clutch. Clutch felt perfect. The hydraulics felt perfect.
Under the hood, you watched the slave work perfectly.
But as I pushed the stick into first, all it did was lean on the synchros and make the car roll forward at a really slow pace.
And once you step on the clutch, I'd watch the slave push on the fork, and then the fork would wobble.
Yeah.
Once it had a load on it. When it had no load on it, no problem. Actuate it, wobble. So something in there, we probably broke something on the pressure plate.
There's a bearing that gave up the ghost.
It's probably in the pressure plate. It won't disengage all the way. And as the throw out bearing's going around it, it's doing this. And anyway,
I'm gonna say failure was unavoidable because if even at 11:30, if we would have driven around the track, we would not have had the parts or the time or anything else.
Or interest.
No. We would have just drank more, slept more, and known that we weren't getting out on track.
I just wouldn't have suited up and pushed it away.
Yeah, that's us. That's it.
We would have put it on the trailer right from the garage.
I am definitely putting this into the wiener stepping category because
Agreed.
We should have tested it.
Agreed.
But it wouldn't have changed anything.
No.
It
would not have gotten us an extra lap.
Nope.
I would have drank more instead.
So that 85,000 mile stock clutch that was in it had enough. Sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, okay.
So this is why Jim didn't get in on Sunday. I didn't get any laps on Sunday. Anybody got any laps?
So that's Sunday. There we go. I can give you a rundown of what it is. It's obviously something in the clutch internally inside the bell housing. So I have ordered we have another transmission here. That's a much less expensive transmission than the one that's in the car already. So that's a sturdier transmission. So the sturdier, less expensive transmission.
It's just a Mazda 3 transmission.
It's a different Mazda 3 transmission, but it's
yes, better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's again sturdier and way less expensive. So, but it requires a different flywheel and clutch and axles. So I ordered all those things today. Nothing special. This week they're almost all here. There's only axles, and I ordered a new rear main seal because if I'm gonna have the flywheel off,
gonna do it. Yeah,
I'm gonna replace the main seal.
It's already leaking anyway.
Because of art. No, it wasn't leaking at all. But
okay,
it has 85,000 miles on it.
Going all the way back to my Toyota, when I knew when I was gonna pull the transmission off, I ordered a rear main.
Yeah, like
because
you're
there. Yeah, it was $7 on Amazon.
Yeah, this one was 30, but okay. Like I'm not pulling that all off for that again. That's going on. So that's that with the Mazda. I ordered a new oil cooler. It's already here. That's ready to go on too. It's just a crappy Chinese part that I ordered from Amazon. This time I got a better one. Okay. So Mazda will live again. No problem. These are solvable problems. Nothing that big.
Especially if it doesn't go till Watkins, whichever.
Yeah, I think we're trying to do Watkins Glen or VIR in early October. That's the next time the car is going to go out. So
sounds good.
With for NASA
HPDEs,
NASA.
yeah.
Okay, nice.
Let's talk about the rest of the team. How'd the Cressida do?
Cressida
rocked
8th overall, I think, at the end. They were the Cressida. This is old school Cressida. But also, Aaron figured out why the car's a little slower this year than last year. Is that at pit and testing day when they were changing injectors, he had to have the distributor out, and he put it back in and thought he had it in the right spot, but never retimed it. So he thinks his timing's a little off, which is why the car's
very un-Aaron thing to do.
Right, just a little down on power, which is like
completely.
Like at pit, I was running down the Cressida and the Mazda. I said, "That's not right. Nope. Something's not right here," and we think that's it. So expect the Cressida back to faster at New Hampshire.
Good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But I thought the Cressy, was I mistaken that I saw the Cressy in the top 3 briefly?
No.
Nope. Betty was there.
Betty was
Betty was overall lead. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. Now Cressida gradually worked themselves up into top 10.
I think they were 7th overall.
Yeah.
I think is what they
they had a perfect Cressida weekend.
Yep. They did.
Yeah. Yep. Steve, Dishwasher Fairy, Aaron, and Dave, car owner. Another solid job. Little down on power, still in the top 10.
Yep.
Because they just keep running.
Yeah.
And they drive smooth and clean. No flags.
No flags
no
at all. No,
problems. Just drive.
Actually,
Yeah.
Steve got a flag, didn't he?
No, Steve
Oh,
doesn't.
come
flag.
on.
Steve
I
got
got-
one flag one
hang
time,
on.
and it wasn't even him.
I got a flag this time. I'm driving around and I get a flag. It's pointed at me, and I like at 41. Okay, fine. I flash my lights at the corner worker to acknowledge it, and I say,
Because
and I
you
say,
know
I
we
just
have lights.
right. I said I got a
Weird.
black flag, and they say, Chrissy's like, hang on. I said I didn't do
What?
anything.
No,
See, the only thing that I
No.
could have done when you don't know why you have a flag, it's
It's
probably
yellow.
passed under yellow. But I don't even
Yellow.
remember much yellows.
there wasn't yellows when you
No.
were out.
And then Chrissy says it was a spin. I
You
said, I
spun.
definitely didn't spin. I never
And I'm
even
like,
got
okay.
sideways.
And of course,
I didn't
Kim's
do
like
anything.
sad. She's like, oh, you did this. And I was like, nope, it's
No.
Chris. He doesn't spin.
And when
And
I
I'm like-
do, I'm
and
like,
you just
holy
got
crap,
in.
I
You had
spun.
Got in not long ago, right? Like this was like
Yeah,
it was not
I
long.
definitely didn't spin.
The,
But you
the
know who
clutch
did?
was definitely broken at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you know who did spin? Greg in Betty,
Oh,
right in
totes.
front of me. I passed him in the grass because he was sideways in turn
but
one.
we're like 41, 43. White Mazda, black Mazda.
RX-7.
How are you thinking these are different?
There are 5 variables there, and 2 of them do match up.
Sure,
Mazda and a 4.
Well,
Yeah.
right. But we also,
Yeah.
but we're like, really, you're that far
So
off? And Chris
I
is
came
like,
in for the flag with no clutch, by the way, which was exciting getting started out of penalty.
because we're like, okay,
And-
we're gonna have to push. Fortunately, we were all
Yeah.
there. We're like, I can't even shame you
Yeah,
because you
out
didn't.
of I said I
spin.
didn't do it. I didn't. I would tell you if I did. I
The-
said that to
the-
Manny.
the
He's like,
best
yeah, I
part-
know.
The best part is Manny, or I think it was Eric Rude. Eric Rude pointed at the dent that Chrissy got the day before and was like, or earlier in the day, and was like, well, this is your first black flag, and obviously something happened out there at some point
was
in the
like,
day.
this
So let's
happened a
just
while ago.
consider this one karma.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
keep going.
Like you win some, you lose some, right? He's like, you don't
Yeah.
have some black flags for things you do. You do have some black flags for things you don't. That's exactly what he said. And we're like, fine.
Yeah,
Fine,
you're right.
fine,
Well,
go.
at
And let that
point,
be a
Betty
lesson to
was-
all of our listeners. Even if you didn't do anything, don't come
take
in and
a
start
flag.
arguing. Don't
You
come
got
in
away
us
with
and
something
argue
at
with
some
us.
point during
Yeah,
the day.
just-
Well,
yeah.
the best thing is that some people were there going, no, it was Betty's flag. It was Betty's flag. And Betty's leading. And I'm like,
Right.
no.
We're like,
Shut
we're
up.
fine. We're fine.
We'll
And we
take the
said all
flag.
weekend, we told them all weekend, we're like, we took this flag for you. And they were like, we very much appreciate it. And we're like, all the time, we're like, look, that was your black flag. And,
Yeah, just so you know, that was yours.
yeah, that was
All right,
I'm
so
gonna-
Jeff, keep going on about what happened with Betty.
Black Betty. So Black Betty, we want them to win. This car should win. It's fast enough. If they could ever stop stepping on their wiener, yeah, I
Red
know.
fights at 2 a.m. Go back
so-
and watch our Thompson
Oh.
video on our YouTube channel where Jeff and I are like, oh, look, all the cars are lining up. Betty's on jack stands.
Yeah, they like are a little disorganized in the pits. They're a little hungover on Sunday sometimes. They're they get a black flag
Sunday?
every now and then. Yes, Saturday too. But they deserve a win, and so Alex, well-known Miata racer, Alex, who's become a seat whore and he's everywhere. He kind of came in and he kind of organized them a little better. It was like an hour to go and he's like cleaning the windows, everything's ready. It's like, man, Alex is classing up the joint. They got a real good chance. They finished Saturday leading on the lead lap, one other car, Momrath about 3 behind, in the catbird seat, ready to win this race. And we just kept telling them, don't step on your wiener, don't step on your wiener, don't step on your wiener. And Alex, who is trying to class up the joint, slides the nose of Betty right into the Cordoba.
Cordoba.
I thought I was waiting for Mental to get the music together.
You gotta, dude. I gotta push like a lot of buttons.
That's
It takes a
fine,
lot.
that's fine.
But I can do Ricardo Montalban.
Oh, thank you. So
I
it was
know what I
in-
need when I damage my Mazda, and what I
Yeah.
need I get from this Cordoba.
Yes. Anyway, it was turn 9 coming off of the road course, or coming off the oval and back onto the road course. It's really bumpy. He said he went hard on the brakes because the Cordoba was a little slower in front of him, and it just skipped over the bumps and went right into the back of the Cordoba. And he was so upset with himself because I don't think he's ever been that close to a win.
No, not even nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he and the boys haven't been, they've been that close a lot. They have been bridesmaids several times, so they're used to it. But
there's an extended discussion on Facebook. Someone recognized that car from Watkins Glen at AAR years ago. It's like, is this the actual Black Betty? And yes, actually, it is the Black Betty. And they're like, wow, she looks a little more rough, but man, that car is fast.
yeah. I will say it's very un-Alex-like to have any kind of contact out there.
Yeah.
But very normal Betty to be winning the race and then slide into a car that you shouldn't hit. He had to bend the nose back out, duct tape the hood back together, lots of bending and duct tape, and he's gonna buy him a new nose and a new hood, new fenders and everything. But yeah, after serving the penalty, they were in third place, 6 laps down, and they never recovered. And that's kind of where they finished.
Yep.
I could honestly, I'm not trying to like defend anything, but that does make sense. I know that turn. Yeah. And I can imagine, front end hopping a little bit, and Betty's pretty stiff on the nose sometimes.
So the Cordova you can see.
You can see, yeah,
from a while away.
You kind of should.
Your
have
eyes
seen
are up
Cordova.
in that
For the
corner,
other
which
side
they should be.
of the oval. You can
Alex
see
completely admits that he screwed up.
Yeah.
I was too hot, and I went hard on the brakes, harder than I should have, and I shouldn't have been there. And that's what
This is just the continuing story of Betty of wiener stepping.
Well, and let anyone who has never been red misty when they got towards the pointy end or thought they were going to pull something
hell
off,
yeah.
cast the first stone.
Been there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why the front of the Civic has a bed splitter.
Yeah.
Did until I fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What else do we have to say about the Thompson race? It was a fantastic race.
Love the staff at Thompson. They held a great event. Lemon staff, as always, is wonderful, and we were happy to see them all. Great to see all the friends. Hoping none of you get the COVID.
Weather was pretty nice. There's no water overflowing. I mean, I took showers when the showers were lines were short, so it wasn't so bad. But overall, it wasn't.
All is well.
Noteworthy. It was fine.
Nice weekend.
What about the ice cream? What was with this ice cream thing? Been there like 3 times, never had ice cream.
Yeah. How many times?
There's a golf course there.
There's a golf course.
Holy crap.
I've run through that golf course.
Yeah, there's an ice cream stand, and it is fantastic. Myself and Bruce got fantastic ice cream. It's like literally outside of turn 1 where the gravel parking lot is, across some grass.
It's 4. Yeah.
The hairpin, whatever the hairpin.
4.
4. Yes. So it's outside of turn 4, across the gravel parking lot, a little hump of grass, and you're on the golf course like restaurant. On the other side of the restaurant, fantastic. 50 flavors, 10 high school girls scooping ice cream.
That's why Bruce kept going back.
I know, probably.
Sorry.
I was trying to say how big it was by saying there were like 10 people working it. Like the whole town was there. I was like 30th in line.
That's great. Fantastic.
Yeah. 30 is a much higher number than it actually was.
This big. This much.
Wow.
All right. I feel like Chrissy's time of useful consciousness is 30 minutes expired.
Yes.
Well, when it takes us 48 minutes to get the show started.
You are absolutely right.
Let's just keep moving.
All righty.
Cheap but terrible. Just the tip. What are we doing today?
The tip.
What now? Is this a safety thing or is this?
This was a safety thing, but we're going to recap it because it was already recapped from earlier. We're talking about car tech and how to make sure that your car is actually going to pass tech when you get it into line.
I feel like this is a dude. Don't do that shit.
Well, this is
it could be that.
This is based on the car that we saw that didn't pass tech, and we said, "Holy crap, you're not." If you were to get past tech, which they were close to passing tech.
They were past tech.
They had a sticker.
Tech. So we talked about this with Lemon staff and made sure that this is really how it was going to go. But making sure that you understand how to do these things. So one really big important thing is how to do your belts. So we found, Chris will note that we found multiple people that didn't do their belts correctly. This is talking about.
Well, they don't know how to do the loop over the harness bar.
Okay. Do you want to do this?
Well,
Please.
do your belts correctly could go so many ways. That's all.
I wasn't done yet. Chris, just you just adjust the tip. Nope. On mute.
Oh, so here we go. While the two people that are actually in the same house play chicken, go to the 24 Hours Lemons website, download the How Not to Fail Tech PowerPoint, print it if you don't want to do that sort of thing, but they actually have a very well done animated view of exactly how to do your belts. And this is the key thing about these belts and why we're making a joke, but not really making a joke, is a quarter of an inch or even an eighth of an inch of play in those belts in a situation where you find yourself needing them. That is an opportunity for you to accelerate. Now you do we talked about the 12G crash Corrosion had a while back and some other crashes like that, but it is completely possible in a Lemons crash to experience upwards of 4 or 5 Gs. In my case, that would make me 1,000 pounds. So if you have an inch, if you have a quarter of an inch of play in your belts, that's coming out, and that is an opportunity for your now 1,000-pound body to accelerate and then go into those belts. And that's going to start cracking ribs, breaking collarbones, even with all your other safety gear. So go through, do it correctly, have those belts tight.
If you don't know how to do it, you don't understand, ask somebody. Don't try to just assume that you know what you're doing. Also, going back to the belts on the team that we're trying to assist and they're not having enough, make sure that they're long enough. Your belts are long enough for all of the drivers that you have. There needs to be some play. You should be able to pull it all the way down. Every person should be able to have some part of their belt that they need to be able to pull down. If you are the smallest person on their team and you have too much to be able to pull down and you're the length, the amount of belt that you have left is touching the seams of the next part of the belt, make sure that you undo them. So take them out, make sure that there's more belt available and there's enough of that slack between all of your drivers.
And move the seat when you make these measurements.
Well, if you have a seat that moves.
Because these short people might sit a lot closer to the steering wheel.
Good call.
And actually use more belts than the big people.
All of your belts come with very long strands. Very, very long. So yes, do it right. Chris, what else do you have to say? Oh, good. Okay, cool. Clean out your debris. So you say it's funny that you all laugh at us that we wash the car. We wash the inside, we wash the outside. You laugh, but it's fine. So, but make sure that you clean the stuff out because as soon as you drive and there's a lot of wind that vortexes inside the car in ways that you don't think it does. As soon as there's any kind of stuff, there could be leaves, there could be metal shavings, it could be dirt from before or just leftover parts. All this stuff is going to fly up and it's going to fly, has potential to fly into your helmet just because you don't know which way that wind is going to move. So make sure you just take a little bit of time to clean out your debris. Make sure your battery tie down is real. So it's not hard to make a couple pieces of metal. Probably really good to do before you leave your house because that's kind of stuff that needs a little bit of fabrication. But make sure that you are, again, following the rules that are in the rule book and making sure that tie down is actually real and doesn't move. And you should be able to just hit the box and make sure that the battery is actually stuck to the car, not the box. The box needs to be stuck to the car, but the battery itself also needs to be secure to the car. If it's not, the battery terminal has the option to hit things around and then can start a fire, which is stupid. So make sure that is already done before you even go to tech. Go ahead, Mr. Nasty
Or
Man.
if the battery's loose, it is now a 40-pound projectile moving around your car.
My goodness and a half.
That is more what matters than the fire stuff is the heavy projectile. It's going to hit you in the head or something else.
Which times 4 is now a 160-pound projectile.
4 is a very light crash metal. 20 is good.
Yeah,
that's more we're looking at. Yeah.
Yep. So my last thing, but this is probably not the last thing because this is very abbreviated of all the things you should be dealing with when your car is checking. Make sure you put on your transponder in the correct spot. Don't have your driver hold it as a easy pass. They're going to hold it over every time you pass the start finish line to make sure that it's out there. Don't do that.
Put your arm out the window, get it real close to the ground. Totally fine.
Especially if you're renting one, make sure that you're having it. If you don't rent one, make sure that your mount is in the correct spot. So it needs to be before, somewhere under the car, in a place that is unrestricted, uncovered, and maybe somebody else can fill in here on
a
better
clear
places for it.
view to the ground.
That's pretty much
And
the
That's the
crux
most
of it.
important thing, and a good protected spot, not zip tied to your exhaust because it'll melt because it's plastic.
Didn't young Chris Egan or Tom Lamino, one of them, melt their transponder?
It wasn't Chris. He's smarter
Yeah.
than that.
Then also
Had to have
not
been.
zip tied to your very front bumper because it will get hit and either fall off or get smashed. In either case, you owe Kim cash.
Rear tow hooks are great spots to put it, like
Very
the
good.
stock ones, things like that.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Is that the end of just the tip?
Abbreviated. Yep.
Abbreviated. That's all right. It's late.
Wow.
Read-
You're
read
not
the-
even getting the full tip. You're getting an abbreviated tip.
The
Well,
tip
that's
of the tip.
usually what
Such
you get
disappointment.
when you get the tip. It's just a tease.
Total tease.
Next show, do we have any clue what we're doing?
We do. I am very excited. We have got long-term Haggerty contributor Kyle Smith as a guest. He actually reached out to us on that social media. You could see him on Kyle's Garage on the Haggerty channel on YouTube. In addition to his education, he's a McPherson restoration grad. His experience and his wrenching, he's here to talk about his latest adventure that he's chronicling. It's called 6 Ways to Sunday, where he is taking his 1989 Honda XR250R and 6 different vintage racing track disciples: vintage motocross, cross country, road racing, flat track, and trials, which I can hear everyone now saying, except for Bruce, who's probably going to be all down with this because he's a biker. This is everyone's racers. Why is this interesting? And I'm going to quote a line from his first race where 5 minutes before the start, the bike starts leaking oil. I didn't drive across the country just to drink beer in a parking lot. So I assure you, Kyle Smith is one of us. You're going to enjoy this show.
Yeah, I'm down with some motorcycle racing. I keep it on 4 wheels. But
He's restored a Model A. He's got an Austin Healey. Check out Kyle's Garage. Check out his articles on Haggerty. This is going to be a good show.
Awesome. And then after that, we're doing the AMA, probably live show. So if you have any interesting questions,
I think it's
if you have anything you want us to talk about, send it to us at our social media, everyone.racers@gmail.com or whatever. And look for the link. Watch the social media because we're going to send a Zoom link out and you can join us and listen to this travesty of broadcasting live.
Yes.
And maybe even join us. Maybe we'll turn on your microphone and you get to talk. Who knows? All right. So there it is. What else? And no music. We're just going to go out without music. Thank you for downloading us. I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers Mental.
hang on, I
Welcome
have
home.
it.
Oh, he has it. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this, thank you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. If you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or comments, put it right down there in the doodly-doo. Right down there in the doodly-doo. Just type right down there. Smash that like button. Hit the little bell. Subscribe. Watch while you're asleep. We don't care. We just want to get those numbers up a little bit.
My dogs love this show.
Yeah. So anyway, you can also hit us up on the Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us 484-243-0455. Mental, do you have your phone with you at work? Can you respond to the text messages?
Not at work. Send me pictures of your junk anyway.
There you go.
I have to keep it in a locker outside. I'll go get
He
it.
loves junk pics.
Every junk pic that has been sent to us on that text line, I have genuinely enjoyed.
Well, there you go. Text us 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless you're like Chrissy and you just got your first dent, then just keep those wheels down.